The inner turf at Belmont was an optional claimer. He was beaten, he was beaten by 2.5 lengths, finishing second. And in the Pilgrim at Belmont on the inner, he was also beaten by 2 lengths on the inner. So I like the post position. I like where the running line showed that he pretty much positions himself. And I'm sure that public sector, will be in a good position to win the race. I do expect my top choice easy time to be ahead and to get first run. And then I look for public sector to come home. So that's going to be kind of like my exacta as well. And also the two I'm using in the pick five. Race 8 is the Aladar, and it's a mile in the eighth, one of my favorite horses of all time. I still think he was better than the Firm. Nevertheless, you know, they made a. It's kind of strange to me. I know Aladar, won the Whitney and the Travers in the same season as a 3-year-old, of course, and you would think that Easy Goer and Aladar would have, a graded stakes, not a restricted $120,000 stakes. I mean, I'm not saying it needs to be a grade 1 yet, but I mean, it could, at least should be a grade 2 for Aladar and Easy Goer. But anyway, I don't know. We got to do something about that, Naira. But anyway, mile in the eighth on the main 8 are going to run, and it is clean, no scratches. So this was a tough race too. I'm using 2 runners here. And let me start off with the 7 Jesus' team. Now, Jesus' team was beaten favored at Gulfstream last time out in a handicap race, kind of like a lower level handicap race, but he was 3-5. And after coming from Dubai in the World Cup, where he was not disgraced, only missed by 6 lengths, and came back 3 months later and obviously was bet off the board and just didn't run on Gulfstream's track, but did show that he liked Gulfstream. So I know the plan for Jose D'Angelo was to get him back on the track. Now, Junior Alvarado is going to ride. There is a Mott horse in here, the 4 Art Collector, and I know Junior and Mott team up a lot of times on grass mainly. And I'm thinking that Junior had his choice here since he's never rode Jesus' team and he's never rode Art Collector, at least by the recent past performances. So I'm looking at Jesus' team with a 48 breezing work on July 31st at Saratoga. I think he is going to outbreak the morning line favorite Night Ops to his outside. Night Ops looks to be a kind of a 1-run type. So if Jesus' team can outbreak Bourbon War, he's definitely going to outbreak Math Wizard. I'll tell you about Math Wizard in a second. But I think Jesus' team will be sitting somewhere around second or third around the turn. And really, at Saratoga, it's a very, very deep track. It's demanding. And, a lot of times races are won by positions on the main track. And like I say, if Junior can get Jesus' team, outbreak the 6, he's definitely going to outbreak Night Ops and get first run and best position. He will, in my opinion, come home first. The second horse I'm using in this sequence and the final horse in this sequence is the 5 Math Wizard. Now, so ladies and gentlemen, I am true and true a works person. I especially when a runner is pointing to a particular race and the connections are working this horse good. And Math Wizard has 3 Saratoga works that are very, very good since his last run, because he hasn't been out since January. A 47 breezing. Well, they're pretty much all breezing, so I'll just leave that terminology out. A 47 for 4 furlongs, a 59 flat, and then a 1 minute and 2. Those were both for 5 furlongs. So now, coming out of the grade one at Gulfstream in January, obviously Safi Joseph has freshened him. And looking toward this meet where he ran into Woodward last year to Global Campaign, was pretty much outclassed in that race and basically has just, really been keeping tough company. Those works, ladies and gentlemen, tells me that, this is not a prep race, right? I know it's been 7 months since he's been out, almost 7 months. But this is not a prep race. Those works say ready. And Irad Ortiz is going to ride. He is also a one-run type horse. So I am going to need a fast pace. He is going to be on the higher end of the two horses as far as price is concerned in the pick 5. So obviously, even though Jesus' team is my top choice, Math Wizard is the horse I will be rooting for. And hopefully Irad will get a good look at the situation from about 12 or 13 lengths back, which is hard to do on Saratoga's main track. But hopefully, like I say, we can get a good setup and he can bring this 5-year-old horse home in the in the Aladar in the race 8 today at Saratoga. So the 5 Math Wizard and the 7 Jesus' team. With the 7 Jesus' team, my top choice. But in heart, I'm rooting for Math Wizard because of the price. Race 9 is the Troy. It's a grade 3, purse $200,000 for 4-year-olds and up. 5.5 on the melon. There are 3 scratches, so 9 are left. The 4, let me see how to say this name. 4, Back to His Roots is scratched. The 9, Chateau is scratched. And the 12, Casa Creed, who upset them in the grade 1 Jaipur at Belmont at odds of nearly 11-1. Casa Creed is out. Now, I went to the outside Bound for Nowhere. Now, there were 3 runners in here that came out of the grade 1 Jaipur, which is the key race in this particular race. Or actually 2. And the 2 Chewing Gum came out of that race, and the 11 Bound for Nowhere. The Shakertown, is what I was thinking. Imprimis came out of and Bound for Nowhere. But nevertheless, Bound for Nowhere he's this 7-year-old horse is a rocket ship. This is a Wesley Ward specialty. And beaten even money favored in the grade 1 Jaipur against 9 or against 8 runners at Belmont. And, was kind of pressured, really never got a breather. Kind of broke inward, not outward as horses do normally. But like I say, never got a breather, faded to 3rd, but there's an Irish bred horse to his inside, Lazuli, and there's another runner, couple to his insides, Carateri, and I think Bound for Nowhere will outbreak them and clear. And I think Bound for Nowhere can sit second or either get the lead. If he gets the lead, in my opinion, the race is over. And, if he gets the lead by a length, then I'm going to be looking pretty good. So, or feeling pretty good anyway. So, Bound for Nowhere is my top choice. I'm leaving the 7 Imprimis out. I am leaving that gelding out. I do think that, there may be, I'm kind of puzzled by that Gulfstream work. Now, I know Joe Orsino campaigns down there a lot, but I'm just kind of worried about that Gulfstream work. Maybe this was a throw-in. Maybe he wasn't pointing to this race like Bound for Nowhere is. So I'm going to leave Imprimis out. I'm taking the 2 Chewing Gum, who also comes out of the Jaipur. So I'm thinking that if, just like Chewing Gum chased home Bound for Nowhere at Belmont, I think he'll do the same thing today. Jose Ortiz and Bill Mott team up here. 2 Saratoga turf runs out of the money. That kind of worries me. But in the Troy last year was coming home. Coming home great guns. He only missed by 3 lengths, flying home. So as the 2-1 favorite. So even though there's not been an on-the-board finish, that doesn't mean the races were bad. So that's what I look for. Casa Creed is out of the race. And, so it's kind. I'm running the race in my head. I'm looking for Bound for Nowhere to get to the front. There's some scrambling up front. Jose is going to have to navigate from the 2-hole, maybe go around horses. I think he can run home and pass a lot of horses, and hopefully, he may get up and challenge more so to Bound for Nowhere because he missed to him by 2 lengths last time. Maybe you can see he can turn the table. So the 2 Chewing Gum and the 11 Bound for Nowhere, with the 11 Bound for Nowhere my top choice. So let's end this with the 10th, ladies and gentlemen. On the inner, a mile and a 16th, maiden claiming $40,000 per $50,000, and it's 3-year-olds and up. And there are going to be, let's see, the alsos are scratched. So it looks like it's clean. 10 are going to run, and I'm using 3 in this leg. Let's start with my top choice, the 2 Jimmy Dan, trained by Dallas Stewart and written by Brian Hernandez. Thank you, Fort Larned. Brian Hernandez. I'm still reaping the benefits from that Breeders' Cup Classic win on Fort Larned at Santa Anita when I cashed that pick 3, but that's for another story. But anyway, Jimmy Dan is dropping from straight maiden. Now, the first 2 races were at Turfway on the poly track, so I'm not counting that, even though it was a straight maiden, but some very, very tough company at Keeneland, at Churchill, high-level straight maiden affairs, not terribly dismissed. I mean, one, he was 43-1, but there's a couple he was at 20-1 and 23-1 in some very, very tough races. All of the races he were in had 10 horses. So this is a huge drop, especially at Dallas Stewart is taking over, who has decent turf numbers, decent route numbers, decent first-time trainer numbers. So good post position, good rider, and taking a nice drop from straight maiden to 40, the 2 Jimmy Dan. I'm also using the 8 Angry Man. Now, Angry Man already had a race at this meet, but it was on the main, and it was on a muddy track. It was one of them rainy days or the day before, and was putting on front bandages for the first time. So that is something that I would look at if I was able to be at the track. Of course, you can't do that if you're playing pick 3s, pick 4s, pick 5s, unless you're starting the leg with it. But, just was distant in that race, 6 by 37 lengths. But before that, his turf races were very decent at Gulfstream and, pretty much in the 73, 74 buyer range. Had one really good race at Gulfstream where he only missed by a half a length. So getting back on the grass, a firm grass. Hopefully there's no front bandages today. Maybe that was just something for the mud or whatever, run down bandages in the back and in the front. But, I like the Angry Man. Johnny V is, like I said before, Johnny V is not winning any riding titles anymore. He's 2 for 42 according to these stats today in the form. I'm quite sure it's more than this. And so, like I say, his turf runs are good. He does have 2 seconds on Saratoga turf. They were on the inner, so this is a good spot for this 4-year-old gelding. And the final horse I'm using in this leg is the 9 Partners Hope. Now, Kenny McPeak trains this. Junior Alvarado is going to ride. Stepping on the turf for the first time, the Tomlinson numbers are decent, 309, 322. Adding blinkers today. And so I expect Junior to put this horse a lot closer than the previous 3 riders had. And so, in these type of races, low-level maiden claimers on the turf, you don't really see a lot of blazing speed. It's kind of like a guessing game to who you think is going to be on the lead. I do see one horse, the 4 Reiner, should be one that's going to be on or near the lead, but Partners Hope can track that runner. He definitely outclasses the 4 coming out of straight maidens. And I'm also of the fact, ladies and gentlemen, that, straight maidens on the dirt or on the tapeta or on the poly are not the same as straight maidens on the grass. So, but, it does show that, he's been offered for a higher level. uh, $150,000 sale. So Kentucky bred now dropped